Let me tell you something about money. The signs that you're getting rich usually don't feel like signs at all. You might be expecting a moment, the big raise, the luxury car, the applause. But the truth, the people who are really getting rich, the calm ones, the ones with time, the ones nobody suspects, they're doing it quietly. No flashy upgrades, no social media reveals, just a set of small, repeatable behaviors that make their money stronger every week. And today, you're going to learn 7 of those signs. They're subtle, easy to miss. But if even a few of them describe you, you're already on the path most people dream about and never reach. Let's get into it. Sign 1. You make good enough. This one might sound ordinary, but it's anything but. Because every day the world tries to convince you that your current life isn't enough. It whispers that you're falling behind if you're not upgrading, not flaunting, not flexing. And you, somehow, chose not to listen. You chose to drive a used car that works, not one that impresses. You chose a phone that functions, not one that flashes. You chose peace of mind over public approval. That's not minimalism for trend's sake. That's intentional living, and it takes real courage. One man I know drives a 14-year-old Honda Accord. He's a senior manager at his company, makes well over 6 figures. His colleagues tease him gently about the car, but they didn't see that same man quietly buy his dream house in cash. No mortgage, no stress. The money he didn't use for status? $50,000 invested over a decade, which turned into $120,000 by the time he made that down payment. If you're able to say, "This is good enough," and mean it, you're choosing freedom over friction. And that quiet decision, made hundreds of times, is how real wealth begins. Sign 2. You can survive a hit without going into panic mode. It's a Tuesday. You wake up. The fridge is broken. Your kid has an unexpected medical bill. Or your company just laid off 20% of staff, and you're on the list. Here's the real test. Do you immediately feel dread, or do you feel ready? See, most people aren't broke because they don't earn enough. They're broke because their life is more fragile than they realize. No safety net, no room to maneuver. One bad week, and the whole structure comes crashing down. But if you've taken the time to build even a small emergency fund, you're playing a different game entirely. You're no longer reacting to chaos. You're managing it. I met a woman who runs her own Etsy shop. She doesn't earn 6 figures, but every month for years, she set aside 5% into a simple savings account labeled Peace. She now has $9,000 tucked away, quietly. When she needed emergency surgery last year, she didn't borrow, she didn't beg, she just paid, and recovered in peace. If you can take a financial punch and stay standing, you're not just surviving, you're resilient. And in a world full of over-leveraged, high-stress households, that's rare and rich. Sign 3. You're not counting days until payday anymore. Let's rewind to a time when payday meant everything. You had bills stacked like bricks. Maybe you prayed nothing bounced. You knew exactly when that deposit would hit, down to the minute. But now, you forget what day payday even falls on. That, right there, is financial power. It means your money flows. You've built a system where everything, bills, savings, investments, happens without needing constant supervision. And that freedom? It doesn't come from earning millions. It comes from alignment. I knew a barista who made $38,000 a year, not exactly high income, but every paycheck, she sent 10% to savings, 5% to a Roth IRA, and the rest into a budgeted spending account. She told me, "I don't make a lot, but my money feels calm now." That's the point. You don't need to obsess over your next paycheck if your last 10 were handled with care. If you're not holding your breath until Friday, if your bills get paid, your savings grow, and you still have breathing room, that's a huge sign you're doing well. Even if the numbers aren't jaw-dropping yet, the habits are priceless. Sign 4. You spend money guilt-free. And that's the point. It's one thing to save money. It's another to enjoy it, without panic, without guilt, without second-guessing. And if you've reached a place where you can buy something just because it brings you joy, that's not irresponsibility. That's mastery. Because you've already taken care of the essentials. Your bills are covered. Your savings are growing. Your debts are in check. And now, you've given yourself permission to enjoy the rest. One couple I know sets aside 20% of every bonus as joy money. They've used it to take their parents on vacation, to buy concert tickets the day of the show, to order dessert without scanning the price. And the best part? It's all part of the plan. Nothing breaks the system. If you're spending money with intention, not shame, If your purchases come from freedom, not compulsion, that's a rare and beautiful sign that you're doing better than most. Money isn't just a defense, it's a tool for wonder, and you're finally using it that way. Sign 5. Your investments grow without you thinking about them. This is the quietest wealth builder of all, because when your money starts making its own money, you've entered the world of exponential growth. Even modest, automatic contributions, if done consistently, create serious results. A friend of mine invested $75 a week into a simple index fund for 7 years. No day trading, no market timing, just auto-invest every Friday. Today, that account has over $40,000 in it. She told me, "I honestly forgot it was happening." That's the goal. When you stop obsessing about how to invest and just start doing it, small and steady, you win. If your wealth grows quietly in the background, if you don't need a bull market to feel secure, if your investments are on autopilot while you focus on living, then congratulations. You've built a money machine that doesn't need your daily attention. That's financial maturity, and it compounds fast. Sign 6. You don't need apps and dashboards to feel in control. Look, there's nothing wrong with tracking your money, but if your sense of financial control depends on checking 5 dashboards and color-coded spreadsheets every day, then something's off. Because true control is quiet. It's not needing reassurance every hour. It's knowing your system is working, even when you're not looking. One guy I know used to open his bank app every morning like it was a newspaper. Now, he checks it once a week, because he trusts the system. Auto-pay bills, auto-transfer savings, auto-invest retirement, all labeled, all flowing. He says, "I don't need to watch my money anymore. It just works." If you've reached the point where simplicity beats stimulation, where you'd rather enjoy life than monitor it, that's not laziness, that's evolution. You've built financial systems so stable, they don't need babysitting. That's the true flex. Not more data, more peace. Sign 7. You've stopped competing with everyone else. This one might be the most powerful of all, because when you stop trying to win the status game, you finally start building wealth on your own terms. You stop comparing salaries, you stop buying to impress, you stop chasing lifestyles that don't even align with your values. Instead, you define success by your metrics: peace, purpose, ownership, time. I know a guy who sold his city condo, quit a high-paying job, and moved to a smaller town to freelance part-time. He earns less, but owns his day. He wakes up slow, works from a hammock, travels when he wants, and his expenses are 60% lower. He said, "I stopped chasing the corporate ladder and built my own staircase." If you're no longer measuring yourself against Instagram reels and LinkedIn posts, if you've stopped asking, "What will people think?" and started asking, "What do I want?" you're ahead of 90% of people. Because wealth, real wealth, isn't about beating others. It's about building the freedom to live your life, your way. So if you choose function over flash, can handle surprises without stress, spend with joy and invest with discipline, and no longer need to prove anything to anyone, then you're already rich in the ways that matter most. You might not feel wealthy yet, but if you follow these signs and keep stacking quiet wins, your future self will thank you, your peace of mind will compound, and your bank account will catch up to the life you've been quietly building. If this resonated with you, tap like, drop a comment. Which sign is true for you right now? And if you're building your rich life in silence, hit subscribe. This channel is for people like you. Until next time, keep going. Quiet money wins in the end.